Okay, in this lesson we will finish our second test case which we created. Let's launch our test again so we will know what is happening with the second step. Okay, we can see browsers are running and we can see the first test being executed. This is fine, and now the second step is being executed. We've got the result of our multiplication, which is 20. Okay, and what is happening in our console? Of course, we've got a failure because we left this expect from the first test. Okay, but now we've got a different calculation. Now 4 multiply 5 is 20. Okay, so now it will be a different result. So now our test will be fine. But what I wanted to teach you in this lesson is not how to multiply numbers, of course, but now we will learn how to use some nice functions called beforeEach in Protractor, which are very useful. As we can see, we've got two test cases, but each of them is sharing the same code. Each of them is sharing this browser get function, which is opening this website. Okay, always try for your code to look as pretty as it can be, and not to share the same code between like different functions. Okay, so what we can do is to use some function available for us in Protractor, which is called beforeEach. Okay, so let's jump to the beginning of our code. Let's make some space here, and let's write something like that. Let's write our first beforeEach function. beforeEach function. Okay, close the function, and what we are going to do is we are going to paste our browser get here. We can copy the comment as well, just to have a clean code, and we can delete browser get in the first test and in the second step as well. Okay, and what beforeEach is doing, that everything which is inside beforeEach will be executed before every it declaration. Okay, so we don't have to have this browser get here and here. Okay, browser get will be executed before executing this test case and before executing this test case. I think it is understandable. I think it is simple. Let's save it and check if this is correct. Okay, so let's launch our test. And let's check if browser is opening our website. It is. Okay, so we've got our first test, and we've got our second test being executed on this supercalculator page. So it is working. Everything which we will put here, everything the user will write in beforeEach will executed before test cases. Okay, maybe let's put this comment here, and we have our beforeEach ready. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about these functions which are being executed before or after our test. We learned about beforeEach function, but as you probably assume, there is also something like after each function, okay? And as you probably know, after each is being executed after every test case will be finished, okay? So let's maybe test it by writing some simple console log command and checking if after each will be executed after every test case, okay? And there is also something like beforeAll and afterAll functions, okay? So after, as you probably assume, afterAll will be executed after every test case will be finished. So after each is being executed after each test case will be finished, okay? But after all will be executed only once when all test cases will be finished. So let's check it if after all will be executed after finishing every test, okay? And the last one will be beforeAll, okay? BeforeAll, checking if before executed before starting maybe not every but the last, finishing and starting. Okay, so after all will be executed after finishing the last test, and before all should be executed before starting the first test. Okay, we wrote these simple console logs for every function, so let's launch our test and check it. Okay, we should be able to see the output in our console. Okay, so browsers are being launched, our test is being executed. Okay, the first test was successful, and now the second one. Okay, and let's see what is the output. Checking if beforeAll will be executed before starting the first test. That is correct, right? Checking if after each will be executed. Okay, after each, we've got the second after each, which was executed after the second test. Okay, and the last one, checking if afterAll will be executed after finishing the last test, which is correct. We had two tests, and this output is matches what we wrote here. So I hope you will remember what is beforeEach, afterEach, afterAll, and beforeAll functions in Protractor. Okay, but we don't need these three for this moment. We only want beforeEach function, which is very useful for us for opening this website for our test. Okay.